Hi everyone. Yeah, I think we're expecting more people to join. So okay, more people are joining. Yeah. So we'll be starting shortly, please. Um, right. I just want to confirm if you can all see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. I've just shared my screen. So okay, Ali, I guess we have to start because of time. Since we are going to record the session, I believe anyone that misses anything could possibly get the recording. At least we have up to 10%. We're expecting 30 people to join the call. But yes, I believe you can all hear me. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm really pleased to have you all. My name is Salisu Uba, and I am the CEO of NatQuest. Today, obviously, our discussion is going to center around our call for participation of experts in procurement tender management. So this workshop is designed to, provide information about the expectations for your contribution to this interesting development, which is the open tender AI that we are building at NatQuest. So yes, some key high-level highlights that we'll be discussing today. Number one, a bit of an introduction about the company. Perhaps we'll dive into the workshop presentation, and then, of course, the expectation from the participants. And finally, we'll have a Q&A. So pretty much it's just straightforward. We don't want to take much of your time. The focus is to explain what is expected for the tender, procurement tender simulation that we are running. And hopefully by the end of the session, you'll be able to have more information about the help that we are asking from your end. Right. Please, you can use the Q&A section for any question or any comments. We'll be more than happy to discuss. We'll have a more open conversation at the end of my presentation so that we can have clarity and answer any question or perhaps provide more context as to what is suspected. Right. So NatQuest, for some of you that are not familiar with NatQuest, or what is it that NatQuest does? We are a Glasgow-based supply chain technology company. We operate within the procurement and supply chain space. We have very much a strategic business that's focused on using the right technology to, improve supply chain management and make economic impact for businesses, accelerate things like sustainability, efficiency, among other things. We have quite diverse team. I'm glad that some of my team members are here. So hopefully in the course of my presentation, we will have Ali, and I think others will also join me in the course of the session. So again, in relation to what we do and how we do things, basically, we have our ways of providing access to supply chain innovation, expertise, and technology. Our belief is that businesses that want to thrive must manage their supply chain. Supply chain is just like oxygen. I like to use that particular analogy. We only notice oxygen when it is not yet there, right? When it is not there, that means the damage has already been done. So our approach combines basically deep industry knowledge, advanced digital tools to help businesses navigate complex, challenges. And most importantly, we are quite passionate about working and supporting small and medium enterprises because they have a lot of challenges. Some of them don't even understand the impact of what a good supply chain management practice can add to their businesses. Right. So in order for us to achieve what we have highlighted, we have about three segments of the business. Number one, we have, I believe most of you are familiar with our SCM Genius, which is a dynamic marketplace that connects businesses with professionals like yourselves. So currently we have, I think the latest data that we have is almost experts from 25 countries. And of course, we have more than almost 350, pre-vetted experts supporting businesses globally. Secondly, we are also working on a very innovative solution, which is the Open Tender AI. And I think that's the reason why we are here today to discuss your contribution to getting Open Tender AI into a platform that can deliver value to the procurement tender management systems. So Open Tender AI is basically an AI powered platform that we believe is going to transform procurement tender management, not just for businesses, but an end-to-end system that can transform how businesses interact with procurement tenders, either as a supplier or buyer or even regulatory authorities. And then number three, we have what we call the digital transformation and innovation as a service. So basically what we do is, because we understand what technology can do to businesses, perhaps we leverage on our expertise, both in terms of technology, industrial transformation, to help more businesses transform and digitize their processes. Three key interesting areas are quite important for any supply chain organization to function, which is you need the right people, the right process, the right technology in order to function. So perhaps our experience and understanding of AI, blockchain, and other automations really centered around how we can support more businesses to navigate complexities of digital technology, not just for the sake of digitization or buying technology, but perhaps how they can benefit from tailored solutions. And lastly, we also offer technology and commercial solutions as a service. So this is also really important, because one of the barriers with a lot of technology companies that provide really impressive and interesting technologies is their ability to understand and navigate the commercial aspect of selling their technology, and or perhaps their route to market. So one of the key things that we do as a business is we provide bespoke solutions, of course leveraging on our experts from the SCM Genius to support more businesses, from startups to scale up companies, in terms of how they can commercialize their technology, as well as, of course, mitigating any barriers to achieving commercial expertise. So these are basically the key three things that we do as a business, and we all leverage on the right people like yourselves to deliver that. I'll not waste most of or much time on this. These are all the components of why we exist and why we have relationship with the businesses that we have relationship today. Number one, we have the core principle, which we call the Quest principle. Number one, we focus on quality and excellence. Number two, the U aspect of the Quest is we unleash innovation. Therefore, we embrace technology like emerging technologies, unproven technologies to drive or refine industry best practices. The E part of the Quest is empowering communities, and that's absolutely key. And that's why we created the SCM Genius Network to, provide that platform that businesses can really transform their supply chain, leveraging on collective responsibility and impact of experts. So for this is about, bringing communities together and perhaps understanding how professionals in supply chain can also monetize their skills. And then the S is sustainability and responsibility. We are very much committed to ethical, social impact, social value, among others, to create more economic impact. Take this as an example. An expert in Nigeria or Ghana or Gambia or in Riyadh can have the opportunity to break barriers to work with companies in the US or in the UK or in any other part of the world. That is key to sustainability and social impact that we see us as a business creating. And the T, which is the last aspect of our core value, is the tech-driven growth. We really understand, and this is why we have people like Ali. We understand what truly technology can deliver. Things like AI, automation, and of course, most importantly, leveraging on data to create more sustainable, practical, and impactful solution within the supply chain ecosystem. So that's us as a business, and for a bit of understanding about how the business really operates, is that basically for most of you that are on the SCM Genius Network, what we offer is that for experts, they can only be charged up to 10% of the value of the services or the solution they provide on our platform. And then for the experts, for the businesses, it's 5%, which is their platform fee. We work with companies from manufacturing, energy, technology, consultancy, all geared towards supporting their supply chain organizations. These are some of the affiliations, partners, and customers that we have from all around the world. And we are quite passionate to work with really interesting organizations to support their digital procurement and supply chain transformation. So the main discussion of today is the open tender simulation workshop, right? And I'm happy to inform you that this is a project that is there to us. And this is based on our experience working with a lot of companies. I would say more than 80% of businesses that we have access to, the procurement team invest most of their time on either working on tenders, evaluating tenders, or managing things to do with buying product and services through tenders. And this is why we see enormous opportunities in, transforming the experience or, ways of handling tenders management across both the ecosystem of buyers and suppliers and regulators. So this project that we are really working on is backed by, a very interesting institutions from the University of Strathclyde to Glasgow City Council, where we operate from. And of course, it's also partly funded by the UK government. And we also work closely with the Glasgow City Innovation District. Now, why is this important to us? Because of the enormous validation that this can offer. It means there is a huge value that open tender can provide to transform procurement tender management. So we're really passionate by the incredible support and funding, among other things, that we receive from these amazing organizations. So the objective of Open Tender AI for obviously is to create a unified intelligent procurement ecosystem that, number one, integrate public tender sources. We all know that we have different tender platforms across different organizations, from Cooper, from Find a Tender, Contracts Finder, Local Finder. For example, in Scotland, where we are based, we have the Public Contracts Scotland. In places like Riyadh, you have Itimat. In places like in Africa, you have different organizations having different platforms. So what we are trying to do is to integrate all these tender opportunities across different entities, especially where we operate. So our operations is global. We really support businesses globally. So the idea of the integration of public tenders or institutional tenders is to make sure that as a supplier, you have a single window where you can identify opportunities that fit into what you do as a business. And then, of course, the goal is to enhance supplier responses capabilities. Now, I believe you all agree with me that ever since ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and all these Gen AI solutions were released, they have contributed to significant advantage for businesses to respond to tenders. Why? Because it can create some sort of opportunity for businesses to provide accurate response to any tender opportunity or RFQ or RFP process. Now, this is a risk to a buyer, right? Because it means as a procurement person or procurement team, your judgment is based on the quality of the response that you receive from suppliers. So this is a big risk. And what we are trying to do is to step in, because we are procurement people. We understand the hurdles, the challenges, and the risk posed by using ChatGPT and other open platforms for buying product and services in a competitive settings. So we want to lead by providing a secured, ethically, and of course, a system that leverages on your own data to, of course, give you the advantage of generative AI to respond to tenders as suppliers. Number three, is the objective is obviously to streamline buyers tenders creation and evaluation. So for buying organizations, I used to be in that position where I have a lot of tenders. I have to work on the ITTs. It's time-consuming process. We have a lot of templates. Sometimes we make a lot of mistakes, right? Because you are not able to edit the tenders or to perhaps think about, oh, how can I do that? It's time consuming. So we want to make sure that Open Tender AI can streamline the process of tender creation, and of course, importantly, the evaluation, which is time consuming again, both the technical and the commercial and other value added criteria within tenders. We want to also, as a practice, promote fairness, compliance, and transparency. Now, if you go back to the principle, the overall principle of public procurement is about what? Transparency, is about fairness, is about competition, is about value for money. Now, in a situation whereby some suppliers are powered or were able to have some of these tools like ChatGPT and others to respond to tenders, that might give them some competitive advantage, even though they may not possess the right capabilities to sell that product or to provide those solutions to the buyers. Now, what we are trying to do is to make sure that perhaps we can promote more fairness by leveraging on your own data, right, your own competency, but of course, getting the advantage that generative AI, provides to tender management and tender response. So how it works, basically, it has different elements, which I'm going to discuss in a bit. But the most important capability is the tender bank. And tender bank, think about tender bank, an archive of all the tenders, both the successful and unsuccessful tenders that you have. This will enable the AI capability to understand you as a business, right? So that it leverages your own data. It has a context to who you are as a business rather than picking information from different sources out of your scope, which of course it means taking data from different um, organizations. Of course, it will have a very important, powerful analysis capabilities, and then it can draft ITT, so it can perhaps, provide a response to tenders for suppliers. And then one of the key advantages, even as a supplier, is your ability to evaluate your responses. It can give you some highest level of, response that you can get. Think of this as getting a free submission response from an independent expert that can support areas where you may actually be lacking in terms of the quality of your response and the score that you can get. It can also customize outputs, especially for the contracting authorities, so the buyers. And then, of course, this can really translate into submitting a more compliant and confident tenders. Now, these are the key elements of the ecosystem. I'm going to go straight into how the ecosystem looks, in terms of the overall platform that we're building, which is the Open Tender AI. Now, we have different layers, different components, their functionality, how it works, and then, of course, the dashboard and the features, and some of the pain points that we are solving. So as you can see, obviously, we have different capabilities here, from tender discovery to smart matching to tender authority buyers, response support for suppliers, submission readiness, evaluation, compliance and audit, and then analytics. These are very important capabilities that are needed in order to have an end-to-end procurement tender management system. So these are different areas of competencies that we're building in order to really make or rather develop a feature tender management tool that is going to help the entire sourcing and buying process across both the supplier and the buyer side of the business. Ali, do you want to chip in here, maybe to talk some? I'm a bit concerned about too much technical because I don't know who the audience, but I
That's
mean, if
fine.
you have anything to chip in about why this is different and why this is, an important segment and why this is different or the differentiator between, using existing things like ChatGPT or what we are building compared to what we are building?
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, as you said before, like people do have access to ChatGPT. However, it is a bit limiting. Well, in one aspect, it's very random. Another thing is, as you said, it uses general knowledge that's available on the internet, where our system is more tailored toward like you get information from the data bank, and then we go through a whole like complex system of validation and to make sure like the answer matches your own style. So not only do we take information from the data bank, we take the styles of writing if you're more interested in bullet points or like long paragraphs, whatever works for you. And not only that, we go for like a couple of stages of evaluation, and we are thinking of integrating human in the loop elements so that you won't lose that human element and you'll have some kind of control, and that gives you like more options in terms of like the whole building of tender and so on. uh, we are constantly upgrading the AI that we're using. We have like advanced praising system, which is like if you upload a PDF that's not like it's image based, for example, it will still be able to like read it and structure it and everything. And yeah, as I said before, because of like the whole architecture that we're building that has multiple stages of evaluation, and the human element integrated into it, you'll have a more special, more personalized tender that feels like human wrote it or like you yourself wrote it, other than some generic stuff. So that the whole element is we're trying to get away from like whole ChatGPT way of response and integrate more of a human way of response, more of your company way of response. And instead of like fine tuning the model, what we're trying to do is a smarter approach where by integrating data bank, we eliminate the fine tuning process and we can give you a more faster, better result, basically. Yeah, that's I think what I
Yeah.
have for now.
Yeah, thank you, Ali. I like that. It's not too technical, but it's quite understandably simple for one to comprehend.
Mhm.
But yeah, why are we here? So basically, we are here seeking for your help. Particularly, we want to really co-develop and simulate real tenders through transparent tendering process, which is we want the participants on this call to serve as buyers or suppliers. So technically, we are going to have two elements, and it's good to mention this is we are looking at two different scenarios. Number one is pre-development, which is we need the data. As we mentioned earlier, we want to be ethically, we want to be ethically sound in our approach to developing this AI tool. So rather than getting data from, public places or open data, we want to make sure that we're working with the right data. And the only way we can do that is to work with people like you in order to get the right data that we're looking for. So secondly, your expertise is vital, I believe, for shaping the simulation and validating the real world impact. Like I said, we are looking at both the buyer side, the suppliers, or even if you are in procurement and you understand tenders. And then we are looking at how you can assist in creating a high quality tender response and evaluation for the training of the model. And the last one, which is very, very key, I'm glad that we've already secured some organizations that are willing to work with us to provide us with data. We are very keen if any one of you, either as a supplier or contracting or authority or, as a company, can share any tender documents you have in order to help develop the future-ready AI that we are building. We're very concerned about privacy of your data, and that's why we actually ask that if you want to share the data with us, that data must be anonymized, right? But in order to get to the main aspect of the workshop, so technically we're looking at two groups, and you have the flexibility to select the group that you think you're most suited to. Number one is we're looking at people that can serve as a buying organizations, which is the buyers, right? So the idea of the buyers are people that can provide context as to what they are buying, right? So here we're talking about organizations that are typically buying through tenders. And then the group two, which is the bidders, and these are what the suppliers. So the suppliers will, ideally be those that will respond. I think there is some error here. So the roles will be rooted in the future sessions. So the idea is we are going to provide you with the typical standard ITT, which is invitation to tender documents, that a normal buying organization will share with suppliers or people that have interest to sell product to them or to bid for a particular solution. So we are doing this across three industries. Number one is technology, number two, energy, and number three, we're looking at I think manufacturing. Because we look at the survey, so most of the people that we have are either from these particular industries. Again, some of them are coming from the public sector and some are coming from the private sector. So regardless, we look forward to your contribution. So technically, we'll have 4 documents. Number one is the scope of work in the ITT format, which is what is it that we are buying, giving you more context about what we are buying as an organization or as far the ITT is concerned. There's also a template for suppliers. So those that are in group B will use this template number 2. That's document number 2 to respond to those tenders or to the opportunity, acting as suppliers. And then number 3, we're looking at evaluation guidelines and scoring criteria. So this is more or less a guidance. And the idea is that guidance will be useful and instrumental to scoring the response from the suppliers, which is number 2 response here. So number 4, you have the scoring sheet for the evaluation. And then finally, once you have that, we give a timeline. We're looking at hopefully by 15th to 16th of the month, if we can get the response. We are going to roll out these documents to individuals on this call that are keen to participate. We'll send you those documents so you can choose to be in group 1, group A or group B. Group A is the buyer, and group B is the bidder, which is the supplier. So your contribution as an expert is quite integral. As I said, myself, I'm a procurement person. I know the impact that this will make. So perhaps once we have this, which is a very critical stage of the contextualizing and training the model, we'll also invite you to test, which is more of like a beta test of the platform. To either perhaps generate tenders. And if you want this to be done at organizational level, we are more than happy to work with your organization and your team to test the platform. So this is post development of the tender document that you are going to help us do. We'll also be very much interested in, any feedback in terms of the risk or gap or its applicability within your own understanding or your own ecosystem. We'll also be open to, as we said, we already have some features that we're working on at the moment based on priorities. We're really open to, for example, I spoke to someone and he was like, look, we need an API that can integrate into our SAP because we already invested hugely in SAP. So you guys should consider having an API or any form of integration to SAP. So these are the kind of feedback that we need. Perhaps we may not have API at the moment, but it's something that if we're targeting enterprise customers, definitely we have to do that. I also believe that your contribution as an expert could really help in evaluating how your real-world expertise can map the entire simulation end-to-end, which is both the pre and post development and training of the model. So next steps are, of course, beyond the session, like I said, we will really be keen to to your participation in the testing of the platform. We are also open to contributions from experts to a decentralized white paper that we are publishing. So all your contribution will be captured in the white paper, and this is something that really could be beneficial in terms of your reputation and your contribution to developing a tool that is going to transform a very important aspect of procurement, which is tender management. Of course, we are very keen to see how we can work with folks like yourselves to become part of our affiliate program. And this has the potential for earnings, right? So, and this is going to be more future clarity will be provided. But think of this as a way of being part of our commercial model where you can, get some benefits in extending these solutions to, businesses and individuals that might benefit. And lastly, we are really open to see more people participate in our SCM Genius network. And this is an open platform for supply chain expertise, not just participation as an expert, but we really keen to discuss your requirements, as an organization and how, on-demand expertise or freelancers in very interesting areas within supply chain can support your projects. So yeah, I think the feature is about human AI collaboration, like Ali has mentioned, and that's exactly what we are doing. We're trying to work on developing a tool that is going to complement and empower professionals in procurement. We are not interested in a tool. We don't believe that a tool is going to replace the people in procurement. But people that will be replacing procurement are those that do not really embrace emerging technologies like AI. So this is why we want you to be a part of our journey to make this really a working system that is going to impact and empower more people in procurement so that they don't have to lose their jobs. Yeah, so I think we are open for any questions, anything that you think is not clear. I'll be more than happy to provide more insight, please. I think if you want to comment, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to you don't have to just drop a message. Yeah. So I think we are open for any question or any clarification that you might need or anything. Any contribution, please, from anyone. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Any question, any contribution? So we'll be sending out the forms and the files tomorrow morning, and we are going to send it through email. So please keep an eye um, on your email box, and we'll send the documents, and we give a timeline in terms of the expectations. If anything that is not clear, we have some people to always, jump on a call to provide guidance. But this is the idea of the workshop that we are running and the outcome that we expect from the workshop. Yeah. Any question, please? Any question from anyone? Not sure. I'm not sure if the platform is open, but I think it's open. Is there any question, any comment? Right. So if there is no any comments or question, I think we can definitely call it a day. We'll send the document tomorrow morning, and we look forward to. I'll send this. I think we should be able to send this, the recording of this session, as a guidance. But please feel free to reach out to me if you have any question or you require any clarification. But we are really, really excited and thankful for your interest in supporting us to build the next generation of procurement tender management tool. Yeah. So if there is no any comments, Yeah, we have more people joining. Okay. If there's no comment, I think we can call it a day. Thank you very Ali, any closing remark or anything you want to add in terms of the expectation?
Well, what we expect is basically once they provide us with the tenders, right? Both tenders, we're going to use those as a base, and then we test our models, and then we can further enhance the answer, like the response of the model. But it basically will give us like a real-time insight of how it's working, and is it actually giving us, and where can we like do some refinement. It's going to be very interesting how it's going to look, to be fair. And yeah, I would say the more details we get, the better it is. And then I think eventually, if needed, we can see how can we like adjust some prompting and stuff so that the answers will be better. Yeah, I would say that's for this stage. I think that's what we have and what we expect. But yeah, the more the better is what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Ali. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And we look forward to your contribution and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.